Every Pokemon episode ever podcast is now on YouTube. Go on YouTube and search every Pokemon episode ever podcast and click that subscribe button to never miss an episode. Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. I am one of your hosts this week, good old Wrestling Chris G. And on the other line with me is the man that does really good on tests. It's good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, man, how you doing?
And I think this one could do one. No, watching this episode and some of them, it's like, okay, well, that's impossible to get unless you pay. And I was kind of, well, we'll get into it, but yeah.
We'll get into it. Save all the good stuff for later. But This is episode 54 of our illustrious podcast, Doug, and it's called The Ultimate Test, or translated from Japan, Pokemon League Certification Test.
Oh, well, that's not very creative at all.
Not really.
Not even a little bit. I was curious about the Japanese translation because this one was so kind of down the line in terms of the English one. That was just, what's the episode about? Well, it's a Pokemon League certification test. Well, perfect. No, not really.
We're naming the episode that? Yeah. Well, all right.
Fuck it. It's been a long week.
So we are recording today's episode on June 15th, 2021, and it's 5 days before my birthday, which lands on Father's Day this year. Yay.
I have no follow-up. I kept waiting. I was like, I don't have a way to jump in there. You're just stating facts is all you're doing.
Yeah. Well, it's almost my birthday. I've been busy getting the swimming pool ready for the summer, and just like every year, I'm bringing in the summer because the day after my birthday is officially summer. It's the first day of summer on June 21st. If people out there did not know that.
Although with as hot as it's been lately, you would be forgiven to think it would have happened like 2 weeks ago by now.
Yeah, but we also had snow in May for the first time in forever, so I don't know what the fuck is going on with the weather these days.
At this point, I would gladly take snow tomorrow.
Not a fan of this heat, Doug?
No, it can fuck off because there was no in between. It went from like
extreme cold to extreme hot.
Yeah, like I was hoping that we get a nice little batch of 70s and a little bit of sun. I'm fucking going out there. I'm fucking cooking just being out here for an hour.
Yeah, and I can speak for that because I take pride in mowing my grass and being out there right next to the pool. So I'll give people the short end of it. So our cover for the pool.
Probably not the first time you've said that.
Shut up. Our cover for the pool had about a 3-inch gap on one side, which apparently that little tiny 3-inch gap let in all the leaves, let in all the dirt, let in all the everything, because my pool was dirtier than a motherfucker, and I've been freaking cleaning this sucker out since Sunday. It is now Tuesday, and I'm finally starting to get clear water, and hopefully everything will be ready by this upcoming Sunday for my birthday. But I just put the shock in the pool and everything, so I'll be vacuuming as of tomorrow. So much fun.
Go.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm not looking forward to is I'm getting a cold, Doug. And I'm going to have to jump into this ice cold water to vacuum certain like parts or to scrub down certain parts. And I'm not looking forward to that too much.
Well, I mean, that's the trade-off, right? You know, we were stuck in stuck indoors for, 16, 18 months, whatever it was. And, we've been able to go out, for however, I mean, people have been getting vaccinated for a while now. And, people are going out and they're getting fucking colds again. It's
Yep.
fucking, I mean, that's the trade-off. I mean, I'll take a little bit of hay fever.
Yeah. And being fully vaccinated myself, I had the pleasure, even though I got yelled at. So no more going into stores without a mask. But it was refreshing going back to the store and not having.
Well, you
to
don't
worry
have to
about
go and you don't have to get back in the house and fucking broadcast it.
it. Yeah, but if someone gets sick, I'm gonna feel like a dick.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I shouldn't be broadcasting it, but I broadcasted it one time and scolded for it. So no more broadcasting it, whether I do or I
Yeah.
don't. It's my prerogative. But on another note, Doug, we have some exciting news for next week's show.
Oh, right.
Oh, right.
No, it's just because, like, I mean, the pieces just kind of started falling into place, like, today. So it's not like, we've been able to build up to it.
True. But everybody, we've talked
And it's not like
about-
he's going to listen to this anyway, so it's whatever.
He might.
He's
might.
not going to do it. I mean, he might, since you said you're going to say something.
But we've talked about him a lot. He's one of our best friends, Doug. Coming on the show. Yes, it's another best friend, not someone that is plugging anything. But our co-host from Sports Entertainment Breakdown, the SEB crew, good old C Note, is gonna make his first appearance on the Pokemon podcast.
What's this sports entertainment breakdown you speak of?
Right? I don't even know what the SEB crew is anymore. Jesus, it's been so long since we've recorded that.
Telling you. Well, there hasn't really been a reason to.
No, there hasn't. And unless Vince McMahon, as of today, me and you both read the story that he's trying to have every single match count for something, which is going to be really hard for him to do for a 3-hour show. But have every single match count for something, unless he actually follows through, and that's the new norm. Monday Night Raw has been a little boring lately, and I can gracefully say that SmackDown. I look forward to SmackDown each week, but you can't talk SmackDown for an hour and a half, going on 2 hours once a week.
Well, and it's gotten to the point where I've even started to break down SmackDown, and I've kind of come to the conclusion that if you take Roman Reigns out of SmackDown, it's just 2-hour Raw.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, it's until they get John Cena and they get The Rock in here, I don't really know what WWE is these days. I mean,
Well,
their ratings aren't proving anything lately either, so I'm kind of scared for them.
That's the rumor for SummerSlam, Cena versus Reigns.
And Rock versus Reigns at Mania is the big rumor too. We'll see what happens.
To their credit, they've wanted that for like 5 years.
Yeah, but they were going to have it last year, but then pandemic happened, and Rock's like, I'm not wrestling in front of nobody.
I'm not wrestling in front of nobody or risking my health, because at that point,
Yeah.
it was still early doors.
Well, The Rock and his family did get COVID during the whole.
They did. That's right.
So, but all right. So, Doug, you ready to get on into the news this week?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right. So this week's episode, The Ultimate Test, debuted in Japan on July 30th, 1998, and here in the States, April 24th, 1999. And I should have an alarm that sounds right now because I'm going first for once this week, and not out of spite or anything. I honestly found a date, and this CBS began broadcasting in Erie, Pennsylvania in 1954, which later came out to the rest of the world of what we know it. Is it literally called CBS like everywhere in the States, Doug?
Well, yeah, I mean CBS is the. I mean those are the call letters. Obviously, it's Capital Broadcasting System or something along those lines.
Station, I think.
Um, it might be station. Yeah, that sounds more plausible. Um, the big networks like obviously ABC is American Broadcasting Company, and
Fox.
and well, Fox is actually the latest of the big ones. For the longest time, it was NBC, CBS, and ABC.
Oh.
Maybe PBS is in there somewhere, but that doesn't really count because that's basically just public broadcasting.
Eh,
Um,
You want to know another fact? We didn't get
I
NBC or ABC out here in Illinois until 1959, which is 5 years later,
well, damn.
on this exact date.
Well, damn.
Yeah. Hawaii got CBS before we got CBS. How the fuck does I mean, nothing against any of you Hawaiians out there, but Hawaii is kind of its own thing. Like you can't even get certain things shipped out to Hawaii. How the hell did they get CBS before the rest of some of the world? Holy
Well,
crap.
as much as they're out on their own, speaking specifically in Illinois, we're smack dab in the middle of the damn country.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, but we're not on a coast or anything.
We
We're
have
not.
Chicago.
Wow. And
How
depending on what you read, that's either awesome or a shithole.
It is a shithole. And we live here. But yeah,
I don't live here. I live an hour out of that mess,
that's what we live in the suburbs.
and proud of it.
So, all right, Doug. So, that was mine this week. And what is yours this
Well, I'm going the wrestling Chris G route.
week? Uh-oh.
So April 24th, 2018.
Oh, shit. Real recent. Okay.
Yeah, like I say, the wrestling Chris G route.
So,
Um,
we flip-flopped this. I took the Dougie Fresh route.
exactly. According to the International Federation of the Phonographic Industry, aka the IFPI.
I think I
Pardon
know
me.
what you're talking about.
I don't think you know shit.
I think I saw this on my site.
You should have because it was front page,
Yep.
and I'm honestly surprised you didn't go with it. To be completely transparent with you, streaming music services overtake worldwide sales of CD and vinyl for the first time since sales records were tracked.
Oh. Okay.
Now,
So what does that really mean?
obviously,
In layman's terms.
that means that CDs are dead,
Okay.
and they've probably been dead. I don't know. I was gonna say since we got out of high school, but that's probably not fair. I don't really know when I noticed the shift. I'm trying to think, and without getting up and looking through shit, I can't tell you my last physical CD that I bought. But there used to be a period of time where I would go into Best Buy on a Tuesday or a Friday, whatever. I think the music day was Tuesday. It shifted to Friday when it all went to streaming. I'd leave with a record. I'd plop down, whatever, 16, $20, whatever it was. I'd leave with a record.
Oh.
I mean, I can't, I probably haven't paid for music.
I brought you to the dark side a long time ago. I remember you were completely against getting music other ways. I'll just put it that way.
Well, I still like physically having media, you know, but for it got to a point where it's like for what I'm getting, I'm paying too much for a disc. And with the frequency of stuff that was coming out there, it just made sense to find it certain way. Like I'm still physical with my games. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll reach a tipping point, but
Yeah, I'm more in the camp of that I like having physical games, but the last few games that I've bought for my son have been digital copies. The only thing I don't like is I ran into a I ran into a slump, okay? And I know this is really off topic, but I'm gonna say it just for saying sake.
well, they make pills for that.
Shut up. Shut up. So my son was playing WWE 2K18.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, 2K18. Okay. So when he was playing it, I originally when I bought it, I had all the extra downloads and stuff. Okay. So he loaded it up. I re-downloaded everything that was on the store, but they got rid of two of the extra downloads that I had originally paid for, and it's no longer available in the store to download.
Oh.
And that kind of pissed me off. Like there was a Rey Mysterio pack where you got like 6 different wrestlers. That's not available no more. You can't get that shit.
Oh shit! Yeah, that was like there was a I know the pack, but I can't think of what they called it. But yeah,
So, yeah, I wasn't too happy. And then it has enough nerve when you load the game up to say you don't have these files. You might want to go to the store and download these files to get the full experience of the game. And when you click on it, it says nothing available. Oh,
so
I
one
was
hand, so one hand doesn't know what the other hand's doing at that point.
apparently, yes. Imagine someone going on eBay or something and buying a digital copy of that game from someone that has the code to give you everything and you don't get everything.
Yeah, that is kind of shitty. I
So,
mean, it was from 2018, so at a certain point, you go, yeah. But honestly, that's their own fault because people should still want to play 20. I mean, hell, we should be what time? What? It's June. We should be getting ready for, or no, we should almost have had 21 by now, shouldn't we?
yeah, we're about to be in we're about to get 2022 out in November.
Oh, no, but really?
Yeah, November of this year. It hits different.
Oh, it's gonna hit different when nobody buys it.
so so yeah, but I'm glad you brought that up because it brought us into a whole conversation that I'm sure people are like, let's get on to the Pokemon. But thank you, Doug.
No, no, really, November.
Yes,
That's
no, that's normally when WWE games come out every November, right before Christmas, right after Thanksgiving, or right before Thanksgiving,
Christ.
because C Note always makes a note that he gets those games on Black Friday for a cheaper price.
This is true.
So, all right. So you ready, Doug?
Oh yeah.
All right. So I'm powering everything up as of right now, and I should have done that like 5 minutes ago, but shut up. Um, let's see. There's my Netflix. I'm pulling open the show. I'm coughing and
Look around. You can find cars like these on AutoTrader, like that car riding your tail. Or if you're tailgating right now, all those cars doubling as kitchens and living rooms are on AutoTrader too. Are you working out and listening to this ad at the same time? Well, multitasking pro, cars like the ones in the gym parking lot are for sale on AutoTrader. New cars, used cars, electric cars, maybe even flying cars. Okay, no flying cars, but as soon as they get invented, they'll be on AutoTrader. Just you wait. AutoTrader.
all right. So you want to start this week's episode while I'm loading this up, Doug?
Yes, because I was prepared.
I'm good.
So this episode... No, you're not.
I'm good. Hey, I do it every time I see you. I promise you.
Yeah, and I give it right the fuck back.
If you can get me.
Yeah, you ain't running nowhere.
No.
So this episode starts with our protagonist having a picnic. Togepi
Yes.
and Pikachu are sitting around, and Ash, Misty, and we get a whole bunch of unnecessary chewing.
Yeah,
And
okay.
Misty
Tell me that kind of bothered you a little bit.
Oh, I hated it.
Because it made no sense to me. I mean,
Hated it.
I mean, it made sense, but it didn't at the same time. Like, I don't want all this chewing. Like, just get on with the episode. So,
Hey, that's a couple seconds they didn't have to do anything.
yeah, apparently, yes.
You know, and coming off the frickin' theme song. But, and then Misty basically goes, "Hey, Ash, you're shit. When are you going to get off your ass and get another badge?"
She was an asshole, and she made Ash, like, she took him by surprise, number one, and he started like choking on his food.
Yeah, well, I didn't like this reaction from Ash. Like, and I understand he's 10 years old, and he's a little kid, and especially a little boy, and, you know, I mean, I can attest to not taking criticism the best. But this motherfucker was so caught off guard / angry.
Well, I kind of blame Misty on that part, because Misty, being a ass, said, well, maybe you can make another gym leader feel bad for you and win a badge that way.
I mean, but tell me where the lie is, though.
That is. Well, let's see. All the badges that he's won. So he's gotten Brock.
Right.
He's gotten Misty.
Right.
He legitimately defeated Lieutenant Sarge.
Yes, after a redo and a hospital stint.
We had Sabrina, who
That
he
doesn't
made
count.
he made her laugh into submission.
Right, that doesn't count.
It does too.
That doesn't count.
It does too. That's
No,
not his fault that Abra
That
was
doesn't-
linked to
that-
Sabrina.
That doesn't count.
How does it not?
Because it doesn't. Because it was not a legitimate battle. There was some spooky ass shit, and just by virtue of finding Sabrina's inner child.
Okay.
Plus, it took him 3 episodes to fucking do it.
Yeah, it did. I'm trying to think. Let's see, because I know he's going after the Cinnabar Island badge.
He was given the rainbow badge.
Yes, he was given the rainbow. I'm actually looking back on these episodes. And I think that might be it. Yeah, that is it.
Well, because he's got 6.
The Ninja Poke Showdown. The Fuchsia City Gym.
That one count?
Yes. Let's see. Ba ba ba. Do. Oh, yes. That's when that's when he had to like basically save the Venonat and all of that inside of the that ninja Pokemon gym that was in the middle of nowhere.
So he was given that as well.
Okay, so yeah, you're right. You're right.
So yeah, he's beaten Surge, and that's about it.
Sarge is a wimp.
Because Brock and Misty don't count. Those are his first two. Lieutenant Surge was 3. The Rainbow Badge is 4, and he was given that. The Fuchsia City is 5, so I'm missing 1.
People are probably yelling at us right now. You guys go over these episodes. How do you not remember? It's a lot of fucking.
They all blend into one.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
There's one that I can't remember. He might have gotten 2 legitimately. Like, I'll give him Lieutenant Surge at this point, but
I'm looking. Electric Shock Showdown, Shipwreck, Beauty and the Beach, the episode we don't talk about anymore. Psychic Showdown, Hypno's Nap Time.
Oh, the psychic one would be 6.
Yes. Well,
that one doesn't count. So
yeah, you're right. There's nothing else.
So out of the 6 that he got 1 legitimately, and it took him 2 goes and Pikachu growing a backbone.
Yes.
So
good stuff.
Again, I'll bring us back to Ash choking on a sandwich. Show me the lie. And Misty really shouldn't talk at this point because she was privy to Ash. Well, not really. If it was up to Misty, he probably wouldn't have gotten that bad.
No. Remember, she was mad that the sisters just gave it to him.
You're right.
Because Misty was like, wait a minute, I had him beat. And she did.
So if it was up to Misty, Ash should be sitting there with 5 badges.
Yes. So, but yeah, after he was choking on his sandwich, he's like, it takes a lot of skill to win these badges and to win these battles. And Misty again, just to chop him down, goes, how much skill does it take to win a match against Team Rocket?
Facts.
And then we get like a little like snap of Team Rocket, who must be in a bush somewhere at this point, because they just looked over their shoulder and they were like, huh?
I did chuckle at that.
So he's like, you know what? I'll show you some skills. I challenge you to a match right now. And Pikachu's like, no, don't. And freaking Todd over here is sitting there like, stay right there, Pikachu. Oh yeah, we forgot to mention Todd is back again in his little as he's following our trio for the next couple episodes.
Literally the next couple, yeah.
So
yeah, I forget. Was it mentioned that he was sticking around?
No, it wasn't mentioned.
I didn't think so.
It wasn't mentioned, but I mentioned last week because I went ahead and I watched this episode last week as well. And I made note. I was like, oh, Todd's still around. I forgot Todd was still here. And they've had some interesting people follow them. Like, do you remember Tracy? I mean, we haven't gotten to him yet, but he's going to be coming up sometime soon. But Tracy followed him around, and he wasn't a photographer, but he liked to draw Pokemon.
Now that you say that, I do remember him sitting under trees with his sketch pad.
Yes.
I was trying to, until you said that, because
he was the one that replaced Brock when Pokemon thought that Brock was too lewd for a Pokemon kids TV show, and then people got all up in arms and they brought Brock back.
Well, he was getting there.
He was.
He was getting there.
And how mad would you be at this point? So he's telling Pikachu to just wait there for a brief second so he can snap a photo of Pikachu. And Ash, just like in last week's episode, puts his head right in the camera and goes, hey, cut it out.
Well, and this is going to be funny because I was kind of getting on his shit for getting in Todd's way last week. I'm going to defend Ash here only because, and I understand that Todd's just trying to do his deal, right?
Yes.
But we've established that he is under no perceived obligation to try to get this picture of this Pikachu at this point, because we figured, it was figured out the whole thing was just a Team Rocket ruse.
Yes.
So,
I mean, he just wanted a good picture. What if that could have been one of his $1 million shots?
Well, yeah, but see, the problem is now he's been poked. Ash is motivated now. So, fuck anything anybody else wants at this point.
Okay.
Misty has stirred the pot, and now we remember that, this is Ash's show. So let's kind of keep the plot moving here. So yes. So Ash gets mad, and he's like, "This is no time for pictures. That's exactly what I want to prove. I want to get my and then Todd's like, well, why don't you go and just get yourself admitted? And Ash is like, what? Admitted? He's like, yeah, there's a Pokemon League admissions exam right down the road, and if you go there, you can become a Pokemon Master. They basically give you a badge of honor. And Ash is like, a Pokemon League admission exam. And Misty gets peaked too when she hears this, and Pikachu and Togepi don't even know what the hell they're talking about, so they just pop into the frame for a brief second to be cute. And then we shoot on over to the title sequence, Doug. Would you do this?
I mean, if I had, I'm sure it's not free, but if I had the money, if I was a Pokemon trainer, if I had time to kill, I'd go and take this test for a day.
Right, but so
I think I would have done better than Ash.
This is kind of in lieu of the badges, yes?
Yes.
Like you take this test, you pass it, you don't need to go out and get the badges.
Yes. So you pass this test, you get to go to the Pokemon League without. I mean, and they have other exams, other ways to do this. There's actually so we have at the beginning of when we started this podcast, the School of Hard Knocks. So they go to that school and they get to go through the entire school. And once they learn everything, they can go into the Pokemon League after they graduate. Okay. This, the ultimate test, you go and you take this test, and if you score within a certain amount of ranking, you get to go to the Pokemon League without doing all the traveling either. I mean, we come to find out later on in this episode, which is what we're getting ready to go into, that some people can't travel. So they need this test in order to fulfill their dream.
So there's legitimate reason to take it. Ash is just taking it because his pride's been challenged.
Yes.
And it's that, and he's just found out about it. Said he basically had this inner monologue of why the fuck have I been walking up and down these spooky forests and only gotten 6 badges because people have felt sorry for me. Or I've legitimately saved, because he's legitimately saved a couple people. But that's not worth a badge, in my opinion.
So, if you don't mind, Doug, there's that. And normally, I don't like reading verbatim, anything that's going on, but I'm going to read this because it kind of explains everything. So, we fast forward from the title sequence to our trio getting introduced to the ultimate test, the Pokemon League test, and this is how it is explained. To get into the Pokemon League, a trainer has to travel from one Pokemon gym to another to collect badges to prove that he's defeated each gym master. However, here at the Pokemon League Admission Center, we evaluate applicants based on a combined written and practical exam, and all of those who pass receive this badge. Oh, he's talking way too fast. He was talking.
Basically, it's basically what we said.
Yeah. So he has a big red badge, and it's one badge which is good enough for the 8 badges that you would get in any of the other gyms.
Right. And I was sitting here because a little peek behind the curtain. This is the first episode we watched because we've mentioned a couple times that we try to do 2 episodes ago.
Yes.
So this is the first one we watched. So it's about, well, it doesn't really matter what time it is. So basically, I had 40 minutes to sit and think about this episode.
Yes.
And I think I would prefer to go out and get the badges.
I think I would too. I mean, well, hindsight being 2020, but we've also watched the episode and we know what the test is like now. Would you?
Yeah, this test can fuck right off.
And that's the funny part of this episode. So the guy hands Ash his number. Ash gets, as he calls, lucky number 7, and even Misty and Ash is like, I'm lucky already. And Misty's like, a little modesty wouldn't hurt. And Pikachu's like, yeah, Pika. And then we transfer over to Jesse, who wanted number 7. Doug, do you want to take it from here?
Right. So, and then, Ash overhears her and she has to, quickly look away and she's like, occupation, diva, age 17, which, right. And something I didn't notice until watching this episode in the background as we're recording this whole time that they're in this application center, Todd's just bouncing around taking pictures.
Yeah. Which is
I didn't notice that.
Which is kind of creepy. What would you do if you walked in? I mean, what would you do if you walked into a place like this and then a guy's just snapping random photos of you?
Oh, somebody's getting hit in the nuts.
Like, cut that out.
Cut that out.
But
I'm walking for a week. What the fuck are you doing? Get out of here.
But also, just with him taking photos, I mean, we transition from that straight over to Nurse Joy. Like a Nurse Joy, and let's see, Brock immediately noticed she's from Vermilion City, right?
Right. Or she's related to the Vermilion City Joys or something along those lines.
So, yeah, we're about to get into that. Brock starts walking over to Nurse Joy because he's noticed her, but then the instructor tells Ash, well, you have to leave your Pokeballs here with me.
This can fuck right off.
Yeah. Why? I don't understand. He's like, you're not permitted to use your own Pokemon in this exam.
Right.
Which is what?
And I understand, people are going to say, well, you don't get to use your own. What the fuck you don't? You get to use your own car when you take a driver's test, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. So, yeah, this can fuck right off.
So,
and
we find out the reason behind this, which is still kind of, well, no, not even.
Still stupid.
Yeah, it's still stupid. But,
because, the mark of a good trainer, right, is being able to properly train your Pokemon, both physically and emotionally, in terms of, gaining a rapport with your Pokemon. Obviously, we've kicked it around, at what level is Pikachu versus the level he's performing at.
Yes.
Because he's probably performing at a higher level than he should be. But obviously there's this, meld as one kind of bond. I mean, obviously, Charizard's turned into a dick. But, he's close with Squirtle and Bulbasaur and Pidgeotto. I mean, we don't talk about Krabby or Muck at all.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have Krabby or Muck on him.
Never. Well, we had that whole discussion about he's got open spots, but if you want to hear that, go back a couple episodes. So yeah, Ash has built up a rapport with these Pokemon, and the guy's like, well, no, that's not part of the test. You'll be provided Pokemon, and we'll see how this happens coming up later in the episode. But no, this test can fuck right off right here.
Yes. So he takes Ash's Pokemon, and then Misty says that she will take care of Pikachu during this whole test exam. So Pikachu goes and bounces over to her, and that's about it. And Ash is so stoked, and he's like, I'm gonna pass this test. And then they walk over to Nurse Joy where Brock is, and we find out Nurse Joy has I guess you could say she has a fantasy of becoming a Pokemon master herself. And this Nurse Joy is from the Fuchsia City. And she is...
But she's related to the Vermilion Cities.
Yes. She's right. That's actually her sister. Unlike the other ones where they say that they're cousins, her sister is the one that's in Vermilion City. And Brock just gets all sorts of smitten. And he's like, you're the prettiest of them all. And Missy's like, you say that about every single one of them. So, Doug?
Which, why wouldn't you? I don't think there's one big, Nurse Joy group chat.
Purple and Cross.
Purple Cross, yeah.
Well, is that purple? What would you consider that? It's not like purple. It's like a pinkish purple.
If that's pinkish purple, you need to check your monitor.
All right. Well, I'm colorblind.
It's darker than James's hair, for goodness sakes.
It is. Okay. So purple. All right. So we have a purple cross this week.
Yeah. And, old Nurse Joy has a bit of an accent, not quite as thick as the chef next week, boy. Whew.
Let's see if you're able to pull that one off and get us.
Boy, I almost fell off my seat when I was watching that one. You got to be shot because I didn't remember. I remember there was a. Well, we'll get into it. Goddamn. So we're kind of wrapping up with Nurse Joy, and Ash looks over, and James walks in, and he's got like fashion glasses on. And,
look at just all sorts of mysterious, and Ash's like, he looked really familiar too.
And these episodes give me a fucking headache sometimes.
Yeah, this is what pissed me off. So, the guy takes his paper and calls him James and stuff, and the girl that we know is Jessie looks over at him, and she's just like, huh? Who are you, or James? And he's like, hey, get lost, you old bat. And Jessie does not really take well to that. And she does she bonk him? Yeah, she takes him and
no, she just drags him outside, just throws him on the ground.
Yeah, and basically he looks right at her and he's like, yeah, that outfit is not that flattering on you. You need to change outfits, because Jessie is all sorts of pissed off by being called an old bat.
And basically we have this whole conversation about, what are you doing here? Well, never mind that. What are you doing here?
Yeah, apparently they all lied to each other to come to take this test, which why would they have to lie to each other?
Yeah, why? And I don't get the impression that they've ever been apart from each other long enough to both end up in the same spot. James says he's always dreamt about being a Pokemon master, and he wants to live his dream rather than his reality. Jessie says this is one more thing for her to add to her impressive resume. And Meowth finds him, because of course he does.
Well,
He goes,
Jessie considers herself an accomplished hostess, a florist, a costume designer, and a wine expert, a beautician, and now she wants to be a Pokemon master.
well, why not? There's probably an extra line at the bottom of the page. Might as well fill it.
But yeah, Meowth, Doug?
Yeah, so Meowth finds him and says, well, this is a far cry from being at your sick uncle's bedside, Jesse, and this is a funny-looking dental appointment, James. And Jesse and James kind of laugh it off. They say, well, this is such a beautiful day. We decided to have a picnic. And Meowth is pissed about being lied to, so he scratches them both.
Well, he was suspicious about it the entire time, and he's just grinning from ear to ear. And he's like, yeah. He's like, are you sure that's the reason you're here? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You effing liars. Scratch, scratch. Sorry.
And, Meowth is like, seriously, what's the real reason you're here? And James is like, hey, look at this. And he throws a freaking ball of yarn, and Meowth remembers it's a cat and chases down the ball, and they go running back into the building.
And then we're now at exam number 1.
Right.
Which, all right, so we're going to go through some of these tests, and some of these tests are just fucking bogus. I don't get it, but I guess. All right. So exam number 1. Everybody's inside of the room. We see Nurse Joy, we see Ash, we see Team Rocket, and the instructor says that I'm going to throw up an image on the. Oh no, we're not there yet. My bad.
That's 2.
Yeah. So exam 1, Ash gets a photo of Lickitung, and it says Lickitung's tongue is twice the length of its body. True or false? And Ash is Ash is an idiot.
Well, he thinks it's false because he thinks the tongue is longer. The tongue is longer.
Yes. So let's see. So he puts false, and then next we have a picture of Vulpix, and it says Ninetales evolves from Vulpix only with the use of the Firestone.
Which is true.
Yes, which is true. And Ash is like, oh, that's too easy. That's true. And then we get Hitmonlee, is also known as the Punching Demon. Which is
false.
Yeah. But why a punching demon? This is also a 90s TV show.
Well, if this is where you're getting stuck up, I mean, we're going to be here a while. It was mostly just like, hey, is Hitmonlee a puncher or a kicker? And, I mean, to Ash's credit, at least he remembers there's a Hitmonchan, which would have been the answer, but and I think he's flustered, and he goes, it's true, and he's wrong.
Yep.
And then we
get a picture of Magikarp.
And then we get Magikarp, and the only attack Magikarp learns at birth is Splash, and then we get James is having, flashbacks.
He hates Magikarp because he's been fooled twice.
And he's over there struggling, and we cut to Jessie, who's just hitting true. And
she's like, true.
He goes, well, I could guess and I'm going to get half these right, which she's not wrong, but that's a bullshit thought process.
She's literally telling kids, if you don't know, just guess. You'll get something.
Well, what's the what's the saying? If you're not sure about an answer, just say C.
Yes. So she gets one that says Caterpie is the smallest, is the world's smallest Pokemon. She goes, true, true, true. And James looks over at her and he's like, wow, she has such confidence while she's doing this. She's going to ace this thing. Doug?
You've backtracked on me.
Well, you skipped a few Pokemon. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Well,
I just think
I
some of
skipped,
these are pretty funny.
I skipped the Caterpie. Was I think all I skipped.
And then
Yeah,
we got coughing.
Oh, I did forget about which James should know that one.
Yes, because he had a coughing.
Even though he didn't probably, I mean, I think it was established that he was given his coughing as a birthday or a Christmas gift. So I mean, it's not like he found
Christmas gift.
It kind of is.
Just
I mean,
a little.
That's
bit.
like a congratulations on getting your shots kind of gift or something.
Yeah.
It's not a birthday gift.
But we go straight to exam number 2, which can fuck right off.
Yeah, this one's dumb on a lot of different levels. I mean, there's one where it's like, okay, if you're paying attention, maybe you get that one, but these other ones were kind of shit.
Yeah. So the instructor goes, now we will measure your ability to recognize Pokemon. I'm going to throw up some images on this screen, and you have to guess what Pokemon it is, just by the body type. And Ash is so confident, he's like, oh, this is going to be a piece of cake. And then this first one, we get a yellow background and a circle.
And a black dot.
Yes, which is bullshit.
So Ash goes, it's a Voltorb. James says it's a Pokeball. Jesse says it's an Electrode.
Which are all good. Which are all good answers.
And it's a fucking Jigglypuff from above.
Yes.
How in the absolute fuck are you supposed to get that from that?
You're not.
Because it wasn't like the Jigglypuff, like you could see like the Jigglypuff swirl. Because if you look at the Jigglypuff, there is a bit of a, like, okay, if I'm looking at that, if I'm looking at that from above. Maybe.
I would understand that, but
it was just a black circle on a white background, like you said.
Yes.
How in the hell?
And then we have the next one is just a spiral.
Now, this one I'll stand up for.
Yes. I originally thought it was a poly.
Right. It's a very distinct swirl. And I had it down to 3. It was either Poliwag, Poliwhirl, or Poliwrath.
Yes. I thought it was Poliwag.
And yeah, I think if I would have guessed, I probably would have said Poliwhirl as well. James says Almanite.
Jesse says it's an Arbok fully coiled up.
Which is a fair guess after the first question was bullshit.
Yeah.
And then Ash is at least, probably an inch or two away from being correct.
Yeah, he said Poliwhirl or Poliwrath.
Right. And then it turns out to be Poliwag, which is the first stage. And then, but this guy has a very valid point.
He said the swirl on its stomach reverses direction when it evolves from Poliwag to Poliwhirl. Which
to me is like, okay, that's the one thing that you've said right this whole damn time. And Ash, I would think, has just like randomly scrolled past that fact at this point, as much as he fucking
didn't want
probably sits there and listens to Dexter. I mean, I know he hasn't. I don't believe he's a counter to Poliwhirl in the wild.
No, I don't think so either. 51 episodes. I think that's one Pokemon. Well, he has encountered. No, that was a Machamp. Yeah, I
No,
don't know.
well, there was a Poliwhirl at the evolution party.
It was. But I don't think he talked to that.
No, he didn't. But it was in the fountain. Because
Yes.
I think the Poliwhirl had just evolved into Poliwrath.
So it was just chilling and swimming.
Right.
So this next one, okay, so this next one, I immediately knew it wasn't a Rapidash. It had to be a Ponyta. And Ash should have known this too because he fucking rode a, a Ponyta in an episode and it evolved while he was on it.
I was going to say he's actually technically rode both of them pretty much at the same time. But yeah, he definitely, I mean, fair play to him. He's obviously dealt with Flames and Charmanders, Charmeleons, and Charizards. But I feel like
That flame does not look like any of those.
no, and especially just the way it's sitting. If it was a Charizard's flame, like he said, it would be coming at you from a different angle
Yes.
because the tail is slightly elevated and tilting inward.
And you would see part of the tail.
Right.
So he goes and says that it's Charmander. He's like, it must be a Charmander, which in the picture, I mean, I can kind of see that, but at the same time, the flame is not positioned right. And then, of course, the answer was Ponyta.
And it's smaller.
Yes.
Charmander's flame, by virtue of a Ponyta, is smaller. And
oh, sorry.
with a Charmander, the flame is just on the end of the tail. Ponyta and Rapidash, the flame is the tail.
Yes. So,
And look, obviously, people are sitting there going, well, obviously you have all the answers. You've seen the episodes. You're going through it with the benefit of pause and rewind and
yeah, but I'm giving you my first
the...
impression watching this back, and I did get Poliwags wrong. I did get the Jigglypuff wrong because I was like, what the fuck is that? But
nobody gets
Ponyta,
that right. I got to imagine in the history of this test, nobody has gotten that question.
Nurse Joy did
because it's a bullshit question.
Nurse,
she must have. She was what, number 3?
Yeah.
She said, "Well, I know that outline anywhere."
So, but it's at this point that Jessie is just getting pissed off, and she's like, this test is unfair, and I'm done taking this test. And the instructor's like, please take your seat, ma'am. And she's like, this is a joke. These questions are stupid, and they won't make you a Pokemon master, which she does. She has a point.
Yeah, she's not wrong.
But from her talking out about this, she gets expelled out of this. I was about to say emissions test, but she gets out of this assessment test.
She's not a car.
I know. She might.
Well, she might be. She's probably not a gas guzzler. I don't know.
Ask James.
I don't know.
But then we shoot out to Meow. Oh, sorry.
So she leaves, and then Ash goes, boy, that woman sure does have anger problem. Like, he still doesn't fucking, it pisses me off.
How does he still not know?
Right, it's been 50 whatever episodes. So then we're sitting there, and we're back in the common area, and they bring down this big board with the test results and the high scores are on the left side, the low scores are on the right, or vice versa.
And Ash was in the bottom 3 for this test.
He has this really good line, because they can't find his name right away. And he goes, well, I'm probably on the screen with the highest score. And old Todd's over there, and he goes, over here, fella. And it's a screen, and it's James and Ash are on the top line, and
Jessie's at the bottom.
Jessie's below with a big fat 0 because she's been expelled. And then, what does Ash say to laugh off the test? Because he has this line.
His line was, let's see. Oh, Misty says, "Oh shit, I fast forwarded when I was trying to play." So,
Oh, yeah, Misty or Ash says
oh
Pokemon isn't about tests, it's about battles,
yes, yes, it's about
which is
battles.
what fair.
And Misty's like, "Well, Ash, it looks like you didn't have enough luck or skill to pass this test." Oh shit, she is an ass. But James saw that and he's all pissed off, and he says that now he has to avenge Jesse because Jesse's been expelled. So now we're on to exam number 3.
And we see a real quick, we have a real quick scene of Joy battling with a Squirtle against a Charmander,
Yes,
and we're to assume that it's kicking his ass, and Brock's standing there, and he's like
you're doing
giving
great.
directions to Todd. And he's giving directions to Todd. I want 8x10 glossies and wallet sizes. Todd's like, right.
So this next scene, we have Ash coming up to the table where the original instructor was, and they have to pick from these multiple belts that are on the table in order to battle with those Pokemon to become a Pokemon master. That's bullshit. Someone
Yeah,
else's
well,
Pokemon?
yeah. I mean, well, yeah. As soon as somebody says, "Well, give me your Pokemon that you've caught and you've trained," as soon as that happened, I'm out of there already. I mean, I take the written and the memorization test just for shits and grins, but I've
Yeah,
got these Pokemon to get the badges in the first place. I'm taking this test as a matter of convenience, and you're taking away the Pokemon that I've caught. You can fuck right off.
exactly. So we go straight from that, and James is on the field, and he's about to fight the instructor, and Jesse and Meowth are standing on the side, just rooting him on.
Yeah, because apparently getting expelled. Well, I mean, Meowth obviously was never in it. Um, but apparently Jessie doesn't have to like leave the premises. She can just hang around.
Yeah,
I would think she'd have to leave.
me too. But this is where the
But
Pokemon inside of these Pokeballs start getting a little wonky slash funny. So
yeah,
James throws out a Pokeball, and it's a Pikachu, and everybody is astounded. Even Todd, Brock, and Misty standing on the sidelines, and Pikachu is just ready. And the instructor then throws out a golem. I mean, not a golem, a graveler.
Traveler.
And freaking James goes, "Oh, I can't wait. I can't lose because I know all of these attacks. Thunder Shock, Thunderbolt. I've been destroyed by Pikachu's attacks so many times. I know them all by heart." And freaking Jessie just has her hands and she's like, "This is kind of pathetic if you think about it."
and so James is completely on cloud nine, and he says, "Yo, Thunder Shock," and Pikachu throws it out there. He goes, "Well, that felt great to say," and obviously, even somebody who's had just an elementary knowledge of Pokemon knows that electric types have no effect on rock types, but Team Rocket's a bunch of dum-dums.
Yep.
The Thunder, Graveler absorbs the attack and just bowls Pikachu right off of James's face.
So it's at that point he lost round 1. So now James is pissed. So he sends out 2 Pokemon.
And then, he sends out a Charizard and an Ivysaur, and he's getting ready to take him, but then he's disqualified because we're not in the most recent version where you can battle 2-on-2.
No. It's against the rules to use 2 Pokemon at once. So it's at this point James gets disqualified. Expelled.
And then expelled, yeah. Well, same difference. And then he's sitting by a tree, just dejected, calling himself a loser. And Jesse and Meowth walk up, and Jesse says, well, I know a way that we can all be winners. And then we cut back to the battlefield, and the instructor throws out a Flareon.
And Ash gets a coughing. Or a wheezing.
A wheezing. And Ash is like, "Wah!" And,
I think we all were, because he sends what's the attack? So Weezing uses what, like smoke screen or something, just putting up a whole bunch of gas, and Flareon, being the fire type, does what looks like a tackle, like flamethrower. It jumps up and does flamethrower as she's doing a tackle, and the fire gets engulfed in the gas and blows Flareon back, like all the way back to the trainer. But that's not the end of the battle.
Right, because the Flareon lands smack on his feet, and then Flareon uses Glare, and then Ash has Weezing do Smokescreen, and
Flareon. I'm sorry.
I was going to say just tackles it and just knocks it out of the smog and knocks it out and wins the first round.
Yes, and victory for Ash, and now Ash is on cloud 9 again, and Rocket's over here. we get a funny
taking
image.
Notes.
Yeah, taking notes, just like okay, so smoke screen and then tackle. But the next Pokemon that the trainer throws out is a Jolteon. So Ash, of course, throws out an Arbok. So he's getting all of Team Rocket's Pokemon.
Right, and I mean we'll get that hammered home in just a second. So the trainer, the instructor tells Jolteon to use agility. Arbok uses
Glare.
I think Glare again. And Jolteon's frozen in place, and Arbok goes in to use Wrap Attack,
but Jolteon's spikes are too much.
And Arbok gets knocked back, hopping, and then apparently its spikes being squeezed are like a version of a charge, and then Jolteon uses, Thunder Shock, and
just fries Arbok.
I was going to say, as we've seen like 50 times so far in the show, Arbok gets fried.
And then third is Meowth.
Yeah, so, and then the instructor throws out a Vaporeon, and Meowth all complete, Team Rocket's Meowth is all giddy. He's like, hey, it's another Meowth, hey Meowth, and he's, waving to it and shit.
And he's like, use Fury Swipes, because Ash doesn't know any of Meowth's attacks.
Which is fair. I mean, we've barely had to realize that Meowth is a Pokemon at this point. And Ash is like, oh, that's a good idea. And he goes in, and Vaporeon uses Ice Beam, and
yeah, how was this even fair? Like, we have a full Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. Like, those are no competition for the Pokemon that Ash drew. How does this not make him a Pokemon master? Or how would this make him a Pokemon master, I must say.
I mean, all you can say is at least Arbok and Weezing have evolved, but Meowth is still a Meowth instead of a Persian.
Yeah. And Meowth from
Ash
Team Rocket. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say Ash kind of got the crap end of the stick. I mean, at least, Jesse got an Ivysaur and a Charizard
For real.
and a Pikachu.
And it's at this point that Meowth from Team Rocket just gets offended and runs over and just starts scratching Ash's face. And he's like, how could you treat a fellow Meowth that way? How dare you? And he breaks the other Meowth out of the ice. And the instructor, he's like, oh, a talking Meowth. I want it. I'm going to catch it. And that's where we find out
dumb.
Team Rocket still has the other Pokemon.
Right. And, they get themselves all hyped up. Oh, we're gonna take this whole place over. We've got some good Pokemon for once. We're gonna wreck shop. And they get everybody squared up and they say, Flamethrower and Razor Leaf and Thunder Shock, and the trainer basically just snaps his fingers and goes, about face, because they're his Pokemon and they were raised by him, as Ash says. And Team Rocket, once again, their best laid plans have gone rot. And, Ash turns his rented Pokemon against Team. So we've got Arbok squeezing Jesse, Meowth on Meowth violence.
Which is kind of funny.
Which is funny, especially after Team Rocket's Meowth bust the actual Meowth out of the ice block like 5 seconds before. And then, coughing is messing, or wheezing is messing with James, and then Ash has wheezing use explosion. Team Rocket gets blasted off again. And the battle area is just a huge crater.
Yes.
But everybody's just fine with that.
Yeah, because I'm sure they fix it all the time.
I'm sure that happens every other Tuesday.
So it's at this point, Team Rocket is blasting off again, and we shoot to the inside of the exam building where everybody's surrounding Ash, Misty, and Brock as they just helped save this whole institute with the instructor.
But they say because of Team Rocket's interference, everybody's tests are null and void, and they'll have to start all over again, which is bullshit. Because at least the room stuff should still be fine, right?
Yeah. Why did they all have to start all the way over again? And okay, I can understand the battling, but the entire test? No, I'd be pissed hell off right now. I'm like, okay, no. Especially I'd be mad if I was Nurse Joy, who ranked number 2 out of the whole test, and she won her Pokemon battle. But it's at this point that Ash and the gang say that this test is not for them, and they're gonna go and get the badges the old-fashioned way to get into the Pokemon League. And then that's when we're getting our nice little goodbye that we get 90% of the time on these episodes.
Yeah, and then apparently, for some reason, Nurse Joy is a part of the goodbye with the leader of the institute.
Maybe she had a thing for Brock, and Brock kind of struck out here.
No, because Brock would have stayed until the bitter end.
Maybe she didn't tell him.
Well, either that or she told him and he just couldn't pick up on cues.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we get the nice little goodbye from our trio, and they're walking away. And then we get the whole Meowth falling into the instructor's arms. And he's like, hey, I finally got my talking Meowth. And then Meowth kind of jumps away. And then we have a closing scene with Jesse and James, and they have the instructor's Meowth.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, next time we'll get them. We'll show them what Team Rocket's all about. And they're trying to hype themselves up, and they're like, Meow, don't you have something to say? And obviously it's an actual meow, so
It's
all
like,
it's gonna say is meow.
meow, meow, meow.
And I was expecting, some kind of quip, like, oh, this one might be an improvement or something, but instead they're just like, ah.
So that was it. So how did you like this week's episode, Doug?
It was. I was gonna say it was fine,
But
and it was
not really. It was kind of bullshit. I hated
well,
the rules of this test.
yeah, the test can fuck off.
Yes.
I mean, there's no like I understand it, like coming from the Nurse Joy perspective. Yeah, she's more often than not busy being a nurse. She can't afford to be traveling around to 8 different cities and hopefully getting a badge on the first go. So if she's got a Friday off or whatever, she can go take this test and she can save up and then maybe take a crack at the Pokemon League, at some point.
Yeah.
But just in terms of he was only taking it because he got kind of insulted and he got kind of in his own feelings. And then he goes into it with a fucking big hit, so I'm gonna smash this thing, and then he's in the lower third of all test takers, and then it's not really about tests, it's about battling, and then the whole give me your Pokemon that you've worked for at the gate is bullshit. So like I say, at that point I would have been out the door.
So what?
Or I would have said something along the lines of, I'm gonna take the written, like the classroom part, but I'm out of here after that. I'm not interested in battling with Pokemon that aren't mine.
So on your 5 scale, what would you give this episode?
Probably a 2, and I'm being generous.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go a 1, and it's gonna be the first 1 that I'm gonna give because I wasn't a fan of this episode. I didn't care too much for it. They had a few funny things in the episode, but it's not worth enough, like, or have any type of story progression for me to give anything. I thought there was a lot of like bullshittery in this episode, so I'm giving it a solid 1 this week.
And I mean that's fair as well. I mean,
Filler as filler is.
Well, right, and unfortunately, we're kind of dealing with more of the same next week. I mean, I don't mean to mess with people's expectations off the bat.
Not too much. I mean, because you get Cassidy and Butch. I mean, they're a big thing within Team Rocket in these upcoming episodes pretty soon. So we get introduced to some new characters that's not just a one-off. So
yeah, well, but Butch can fuck up.
But all right, but that's for next week. So, do you have anything else to add this week, Doug?
No, I don't think so. Like I say, tests in general can just kind of fuck off.
Well, then say your goodbye, Doug.
Goodbye, Doug.
And this is Wrestling Chris G telling all of you out there, don't miss next week's episode because C Note is coming onto the show. And he will be going over the breeding center secret, or translated from Japanese, the secret of the breeding center. I might take the Japanese one this time. So I'll see you next week. Have a good night, everyone.